Oh my God, guys, it's episode 8 of Pop Kannon. I'm Jordan.
I'm Robert.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Brian.
And today we are talking all about Aquaman.
Mr. Water.
We're back!
The sequel to Waterboy. Directed by James Wan, starring Jason Momoa, Amber Heard, Patrick Wilson, Willem Dafoe, and many more.
You forgot Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
He's included in the many more section.
and Django Fett.
Tamura Morrison, right?
Oh my God, was that?
Yeah.
That was holy shit.
You
Attack
didn't
of the
know
Clones.
You didn't know
Attack
that
of the
was
Clones
him?
was 16 years ago.
You didn't know that was him?
No.
Oh shit!
Oh my God.
Right out of the gate, we're blowing Andrew's mind.
Oh man, you guys are just blowing me right out the gate.
Hey.
In
What?
some countries, you pay extra for that.
So,
Right out the gate.
So, what was everyone's initial thoughts?
So, like,
Yeah.
you mean credits roll? What did we think?
Yeah.
I thought it was a ton of fun, the whole movie. Visually, it was mind-blowing in some parts. The CGI, I mean, people complain about the overuse of CGI in movies, but I really don't think you could do this movie without it. And what they accomplished with it was stunning. Every time they went underwater, every time they went to Atlantis was beautiful. The fight scenes were incredible. I mean, I had a fantastic time with the movie.
Robert.
I enjoyed it a hell of a lot. I was nervous going into it, but once the credits rolled, I was like, "Wow, that was awesome in a lot of ways." So definitely a positive for me.
Yep.
In my opinion, I thought it was so much fun. I just thought it was such a fun movie, especially coming out of DC, where their last couple films have been a little more on the serious side. This was a blast, start to finish, I thought. Like Andrew said, the CGI was really good. I really liked the direction and the camera work, especially.
Yes.
And
yes, we're going to get into the camera work because there are so many awesome decisions.
All right, so I really liked it. I thought it was really good, but as the credits rolled, really my thoughts were that was crazy. That was just fucking nuts, and in a really good way, because it was just way out there, and there were things that I didn't like about it, but I liked way more than I didn't like. And
I agree.
And the things that I liked so much, it far outweighed what I didn't like.
I think that's the general consensus of everyone. There were issues, but at the end of the movie, like, it really didn't matter because the good far outweighed the bad.
Right.
So do you guys want to start talking about the costume work that they did in this movie?
Yeah,
dude.
The production value was ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I mean, really. I'm going to say it again. I've said it to multiple people already. It's the Game of Thrones of the DC universe, or the DCEU, I should say.
I was honestly I was pleasantly surprised when in the beginning when Ocean Master is meeting with King Dolph Lundgren, and it went so hard into like this medieval fantasy feel.
Mm-hmm.
King Nereus.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But like went so hard into that fantasy, medieval fantasy feel, and I mean I'm a sucker for that kind of thing, and I love that stuff. I'm like, oh, cool, this is the kind of movie we're getting. Awesome.
Yeah, every single piece of costume work on this film is incredible.
Dude, comic accurate.
Yeah. Oh my God! But right from the
Unbelievable.
beginning, Nicole Kidman's Atlantean suit.
Yeah.
And then the militia that showed up to bring her back.
Oh my God!
That overly clean white shell with the water in the helmet. Like immediately, I was like, what is happening? This is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
They went for it. They just went full bore into it, you know?
No apologies. They were just like, this is what this movie's going to be. And I appreciate the balls.
Even when we got towards the end, when we see Nicole Kidman's character again, her armor at that point in the film, awesome, with the shells going up the sides, and the spikes.
The giant claw.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
All that stuff looked phenomenal. Even especially my favorite was Ocean Master's helmet.
Oh,
goddamn!
Yes.
When he put that on,
they did it.
When he put that on, it was just.
I just remember that scene, like right before they go to that big war, and he's got the purple armor on the front. I'm like, yeah, this has got to be the end of the movie because that's his comic. That's what he wears in the comics. And then he puts the helmet on, and it's so cool to see something literally come off the page.
Yeah.
And that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
All these people came right off the page of the comic, and it was all so comic accurate. It was just mind blowing. I'm like geeking out so hard about it right now, but
he immediately, like, it was just right off the page. That look, they perfectly accurate, and I loved it.
We're still talking about Ocean Master?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I love how they even had, I don't know if you noticed, when he had the full mask and helmet on, it moved, like with his eyes and his eyebrow and everything.
The expressions.
That was fucking awesome.
That was a cool
fucking
choice.
Awesome.
And I don't read Aquaman comics, but when I saw Ocean Master, I was like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy that I recognize from the pages.
Yeah.
And then when he started being able, like, emoting, it showed through, and the CGI for that part looked absolutely astounding.
And then another great comic accurate costume was Black Manta.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good gravy.
It was exactly what I wanted when I heard Black Manta was going to be in it. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, and because
he was ruthless and amazing.
Oh, he was like, his costume is slightly upgraded from what the comic represented usually, but regardless, it's so perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Like, his costume was perfect, and the actor, unbelievable job.
Yeah,
he did an unbelievable job bringing Black Manta to life. I believed it.
For people that aren't as familiar or haven't read the comics, Black Manta is no fucking joke.
No.
He is a ruthless killing machine that can take on metahumans.
But back to his costume for a second.
Yeah.
When he was getting it all ready and making the helmet, and then the first time, like, the blast, he dodged it, and he's like, I'm gonna need to make the helmet bigger. Like, that was great.
I loved, and I'm so thankful for an in-universe explanation for his plasma beams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
Was it just me, or when he pulled out that gun,
yeah,
you all go, there it is.
There it is.
Yep. There it is.
There are his eyes.
That was
fucking
so awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome. And then another costume decision, a specific one, Aquaman's King costume.
Yes.
Oh.
Yep. That was it. That was straight from the comic.
I'm kind of upset that they spoiled that reveal in the trailer. Because I think that would have been a huge moment to have buzzing about after the film came out. But regardless, it looked so good. It looked so good.
There's also a massive billboard where I work where it's him in the armor standing next to Mira. So I've been looking at it for like a month and a half now.
That's awesome.
So that's the thing, because if they didn't put it in the trailer, they wouldn't be able to market it that way. They wouldn't be able to use that as the image, saying, "Come see this movie. Look at him. Look at how great he looks."
Well, and then that's why I'm glad I avoided everything but the first trailer.
Right.
Because I don't believe
Right on.
I don't believe that armor was in the first trailer,
No.
and I'm glad I avoided it. I eventually saw the GIF of him walking through the waterfall because that was just everywhere.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, sweet, he has the armor. Like, that's cool. But yeah,
a small specific thing that I liked was that the glove pieces went up to his elbows and kind of came off like fins.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that look. That was
Yeah.
cool. Mira's costumes were all good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, again, she always had a simple costume, but it was comic accurate.
One of the costume decisions that I did not like is that when everyone's out of their hero costume or Atlantean costume, they're all wearing linen pants. Didn't like that, but that's just me. So,
Not a fan of linen.
not a fan of linen pants.
Not a linen guy. Not a linen guy.
There's not a lot of fabric options underwater, guys. All right, so like,
would you have preferred corduroys, Robert?
For formal occasions, yes.
Perhaps a lot of wet denim, just dragging people.
Well, that was the thing. Like, I get that they can't be wearing jeans, so linen pants make sense. They're on the coast. It's a whole look. I get it. At least he wasn't wearing like dock shoes and chino shorts, you know.
Some Caprizios.
Yeah, he wasn't an Annapolis boy, so that's good.
One of the things about the costumes, which also ties into the plot, was we mentioned the Atlantean soldiers, how they had the helmets with the water within them.
Yes.
And they used that as part of the story for how most Atlanteans can't breathe.
Right.
And they played with that in all of the fight scenes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
The pull with the toilet,
yeah,
hilarious.
that was pretty good.
I could have done without that, but you know.
It was a good chuckle.
Yeah.
You're like,
Anyway.
he's breathing toilet.
Yeah. I loved all the design choices.
And even the different kingdoms, they all had a different thing about them. The fisherman kingdom, they looked awesome.
The people.
Yeah, the fish people.
And the brine where they're just
The brine!
fucking volcano.
I love the name. The name.
Yeah, the brine.
I popped so hard for the name.
Rob, did you immediately think of the crab like I did?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
The crab is a fictional character that Andrew and I came up with at work. Anyway.
He was
It was a man that was bitten by a radioactive crab.
No, it was a crab bitten by a radioactive man.
Right.
Oh, God.
Anywho.
Anyway.
If you'd like to know more about the crab, hit us up on Twitter.
I'll post a picture of it.
But yeah, even King Nereus's Zebul, whatever. They had their own design. It was like a very green armor. That's why Mira's costume was green because she's his daughter. So I loved all the design choices. All the vehicles were amazing looking. All all their mounts. Obviously a great white shark is cool, but then the giant fucking seahorses.
Yeah. They
Those
were
were
awesome. And then Orm
rode
a giant like alligator creature.
A giant,
like an alligator monster thing, yeah.
I think it was like a Leopleurodon or something. I don't know. It was
something.
It's like some ancient thing. Whatever the thing is in Jurassic World, not the megalodon, but whatever that is.
Is it a magical Leopleurodon?
I don't know, but it looked like a giant ancient creature. It was so cool.
And he commanded that thing. It was awesome. Black Manta's ship looked awesome.
Yeah.
How great was that? It was a literal Black Manta. Like, where did he come up with the name even?
As soon as it came on screen, I just had to elbow Rob. I was like, you know who that is?
Yeah. Oh, that was
there was nobody. There was nobody sitting next to me because I saw it at like 9 o'clock in the morning. So I was looking around like.
Also, we moved out to LA, so we weren't there.
Yeah, that's true.
L.A.
But speaking of Manta's ship, let's talk about the plot a little bit.
Okay.
How
it's the opening, Aquaman where Thomas Curry finds Queen Atlanta, in the midst of a storm, brings her in. She is reasonably freaked out and tries to kill him.
And then they bang.
And then, and there's an adorable puppy.
Oh my God, the puppy!
It was, I heard a few audible, like, aw.
Yeah.
When the
Oh,
puppy
yeah.
came up.
Oh, yeah. Our whole theater. Oh.
Honestly, I thought the dog was going to die, but
I know.
I'm glad it did.
I also had that same thought. I was like, oh no, don't kill that fucking dog.
John Wick has ruined us all for dogs in cinema.
I was like, his dad's going to go to the depths of the ocean and kill some motherfuckers if they kill that dog.
But yeah, so they eventually fall in love because he gives her some really good tea.
I thought you were going to say D.
Really good D.
Oh.
Eventually, yes, that does happen. And we are brought Arthur Curry, named after a fucking hurricane.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, having him.
I don't know. How about Arthur? After a hurricane? Yeah. Okay.
How about this thing that's killing a bunch of people?
Yeah.
Sounds accurate.
But when the Atlantean soldiers show up to take Atlanta back, oh my God!
That fight sequence was so cool.
The way that the camera moved made me audibly gasp because it was so well done. It was so innovative, and I've never seen anything quite like that in a superhero film.
The camera never had a horizon in any of the fight scenes. The camera never had, this is where we're going to be. It just did whatever it needed to show you everything.
No fucking shaky cam.
Nope.
Yes, Jesus Christ.
Thank you, James Wan.
Yeah, James Wan.
The director of photography is too. Thank you. Or cinematography.
James Wan was able to do something in superhero films that reinvented the way that the fight scenes work, where he was able to maneuver the camera any way imaginable, even defying the laws of cinema, in order to present it in a certain way that made it different. So I applaud him for that.
Definitely.
All the underwater scenes where the camera just worked in 360 degrees. It was so good. So good. Like the horizon got inverted. Everything was awesome. I just, God damn it.
And it never made me feel dizzy or anything like that.
No.
You know, it always worked perfectly.
It got my wife a little bit, but otherwise it was all right.
She got a little seasick.
She had to cover her eyes and look down for a second because it was kind of making her dizzy. But
then she
gets dizzy from just standing up really fast on the couch.
But then she also got shirtless Jason Momoa a lot, so I'm sure that.
I mean, you get one. You get what you get. You know.
We all got shirtless Jason Momoa. Thank you.
That was a Christmas gift for us all.
That was the world's present.
So I've always back to the fight scene at the beginning there. Nicole Kidman. I've never been like a fan of hers per se. I've never been not a fan of hers, but let me tell you, I was totally oh shit, she's kicking ass. And I'm sure that I don't know if a stunt double was used at certain points, but it looked like she was doing some of it.
Dude, she did a really good job.
Yeah.
But just like, because it's, I don't know, maybe I was thinking of, but it still had the underwater feel, the way the camera was moving.
Oh, absolutely.
Kind of a X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
That was flowing around her as she was doing all these flips and things, which I just think was kind of a nice touch going with the
not only with how the soldiers looked, like that it was just so batshit, like, oh fuck, this is a completely alien type of thing.
Yeah.
But when they fought, when they got hit, you saw water leak out. Like I mean, and that goes towards that they have water inside their suit. But I was like, oh shit, that's really cool. Like there's no blood or anything. It's just there's water. Yeah,
I don't know. They're leaking. She made them all leak.
Yeah.
Ooh, he leaking.
Soaking wet. Never
Hey.
Well, because only the highborn Atlanteans and underwater peoples can breathe air.
Right. Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Which we mentioned earlier. One of those highborns being King Orm.
Dude. Patrick Wilson, for me, was the MVP of this movie.
Yeah.
I agree. Wholeheartedly.
He did do a lot of underwater yelling.
Yeah.
But I was sold on that character and for lack of a better phrase, pardon the pun, hook, line, and sinker.
Good night, everybody.
when they had the scene where Orm comes face to face with Aquaman
for the first time
when
he's chained up.
Yeah,
fantastic work.
Yeah,
and the soldiers are holding him back, and they're struggling, and Jason Momoa like charges at Patrick Wilson,
and he doesn't even flinch,
not even a little bit,
because he knows exactly how far he can go, and he gets right to that line and just stands there, and he's like, "What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what the fuck are you gonna do about it?
You gonna splash me, little boy? You gonna splash me?"
Mr. Fins.
But even like Orm is not threatened by Aquaman whatsoever.
Well, he's threatened by his existence, but not when he's in his own kingdom. He's not threatened at all.
Exactly, but I'm saying that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like when he's surrounded by his guards and his people, he's not thinking, "Oh, this what do they keep calling him? The half-breed.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're like, this half-breed is nothing.
The mudblood.
This hydro gentleman. So just a real quick thing, because that was a great scene. But that scene really. So going into this, and especially when they were announcing that they were going to do an Aquaman movie and introduce Aquaman, through Justice League and so forth, I wondered how they were going to sell a movie that was going to take place almost entirely underwater. And I was like, are we going to see their hair move? Are we going to see, watery effects and so forth? Or is it just going to be like it's just underwater and you're going to see seaweed and stuff? And they sold it. They pulled it off really well. All the hair movement, everything looked like it was underwater. You get little wavy effects every once in a while that you notice, and then it moves on. Yeah, it was.
I saw a couple people complain about the hair underwater, but I honestly thought there's no better way to do that.
That's how hair's going to be.
Yeah.
But
shit moves underwater. There's currents, people. Eddies. What do you want?
And then, like, anytime any of them would move subtly, the hair would stay where it is, and then
that's what happens.
Yeah, that's naturally, like, if you put hair underwater, that's what it would do.
I hate people. I'm going to go live under the sea.
But I too have seen people like complaining about that, and there was no point in the film where I was pulled out of it because of the hair.
Not because of the hair. I was pulled out of it at one point, but it wasn't the hair.
Well, we'll get there too. Yeah.
If anything, that just immersed me more in that world. I'm like, oh yeah, this is an underwater culture. Makes sense.
And the entire time, I just kept thinking, oh my god, why haven't we gotten a BioShock movie yet?
Wow. Okay.
Because that would look incredible.
If James Wan could do a BioShock.
Oh, good God!
Please.
Good God! The jump
becomes the underwater guy.
But with the big daddies. Oh my.
Yes.
Yeah.
When Mera and Aquaman were coming into Atlantis for the very first time.
Oh, that shot was great.
The underwater kingdom, everything looked fantastic, and it just reminded me of taking the bathysphere in BioShock down to the city of Rapture for the very first time.
Fair enough.
Why do you need a bridge underwater?
It was kind of already there.
We're just keeping up appearances.
But yeah, so then we got past the introductory scene, and then we get Black Manta's introduction.
So I will admit that it was a bit over dramatic. However, it did the job for selling his intensity throughout the rest of the movie. For me.
I agree to a point.
It was when they were yelling back and forth at each other when his father was going to pass away. It was a bit much.
Yeah, no, I felt it was a little over dramatic too, and this was the part where I started. I mean, I know it's early in the movie, but this is where I did start having script problems, or problems with the script. Like the thing docks, and you see people get Russian, or not see, but you see the gun shooting, and it's Russian sailors. You see were shot, and then it just halts for the first of many walls of exposition being thrown at us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
like, it was that scene between Black Manta's father and him just kind of went a little long. And I get that they had to lay the groundwork, but I don't know. I felt like there was a less clunky way to do that.
Yeah, there's several points in the movie where you're like, "Holy exposition!"
Yeah.
But and like we had talked about afterward, Brian. There's really no other way that they had
No.
to. There had to be huge chunks of exposition. Like that's all Dolph Lundgren's character was there for.
Right. The only way they could have done it is if they had started the movie with like kind of like what Lord of the Rings did. For I guess maybe only two of us have seen it, but at the beginning of Fellowship of the Ring, they do like a back history of the of Middle Earth leading up to this. So
right.
I get they probably didn't want to do that because it would have been like, oh, this is just like Lord of the Rings or something.
Right.
And even I don't think that would have been a smart decision, because then it would take so long to get into the actual film and exactly what's going on.
Everybody's first complaint would have been, it's called Aquaman. I don't even see him for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
And that's a double-edged sword, and that's with anything cinema related. Like you need to get that
double-edged swords.
You need to get that exposition in so that people could understand what's happening.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, then people would be confused.
There's a smooth way to do it, and then there's a non-smooth way to do it.
And I think they towed the line for most of it.
Yes.
Some of it was like, oh, okay, he's telling people what's going on. And other points, it's like, the audience needs to know this. They did a little bit of both. So I'm not upset about it. It's just some points it was a lot more like, oh my God, are we still talking about that? Like, that kind of thing.
But back to the submarine with what were the Jesse Kane? I think that's his father's name, and then David Kane is Black Manta.
Yeah, Jesse.
When they're I don't tell you how to captain. You don't tell me how to pirate.
Yeah.
Which was like, I kind of like corny, over the top lines like that.
Well, then you'll love this movie.
Yeah, there was definitely a bunch. Permission to come aboard.
So for example, the dialogue, some of it was really cringy.
Oh man,
God, yeah.
And
there's about a 15-minute chunk. It might not even have been that long of the movie that I don't even think needed to be in it.
Yep.
The Aquaman and Mira are now Tomb Raider.
Yep.
I was thinking the same thing.
I don't need it. I didn't need it. And his dialogue with her, that whole what did I call it last night, Brian? Their repartee.
Yes.
Where they're
or lack thereof.
Yeah, where they're serving one-liners to each other back and forth. Like, it didn't establish a relationship for me.
No.
It just made me go, oh my God. Because the brutal obviousness that DC is like, we heard your message loud and clear. You don't want dark? Here's cereal candy. That's it. He was just goofy and dumb when he was around her.
Yeah.
He was full on Aqua Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I say that out loud, I guess the only time he's able to be his true self is around her. But that's me projecting on the movie. That's not what the movie told me.
But even some of that dialogue from the child version of
my God,
Arthur Curry.
Oh,
that kid's performance.
Put that kid in a boat and send him out to sea.
When Volko is
never to be
training
seen
him,
again.
When Volko is training him, that was terrible.
That kid, he probably only got the part because he kind of looks like Jason Momoa when they were younger.
Right. That is what pulled me out.
It might even be Jason Momoa's cousin. And good for him for landing a big role, because like we said, the movie's done over $400 million worldwide, but that kid should never act again in his entire life. That was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I was like cringing while he, you lied to me. Like, get out of here.
He's like, what happened to my mother? You told me that she was gonna come back, and does she not even love me anymore? Like, oh my God, talk about melodramatic.
Especially acting opposite Willem Dafoe in that scene.
Yeah, no, it's got to be really hard for a young up and coming actor to act against a demon. Because Willem Dafoe is a fucking ageless demon.
Those eyes, those yellow eyes,
that grin.
He's looked the same for almost 20 years.
Jesus,
horrifying.
He's fucking reptile.
I did notice that they de-aged him for those
a little bit, yeah.
And it worked.
The de-aging was pretty good.
It was good.
I liked the de-aging for Vulko because it was really subtle.
Yeah,
I did not like the de-aging for Tamura Morrison at the beginning. When after the establishing shot, and then you're like, we see is it Thomas Curry?
Yeah.
We see him. I was like, oh shit, that's supposed to be Tamura Morrison, but okay, yeah. To me, the de-aging was obvious there, but
I thought it looked all right.
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty good. I didn't even notice that it looked bad.
It took me a little while to realize that that's what was happening.
Yeah,
which made me go, that's probably means it's good,
that's
right?
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Like I said as I said to Rob last night after the movie, I was like, I guess I'm just super critical. Like I've got a really super sensitive about that. I don't know why that kind of stuff just really I don't know, it bothers me, but
you like zero in on it.
Yeah, the whole time, like during those first few scenes, I was like, man, I wish they would have gotten whoever they did to make up Grand Moff Tarkin for Rogue One. They should have done for this do the de-aging for because that was anyway.
But if you really think about it, the amount of CGI in this film,
unbelievable.
Don't get me wrong, the effects in this movie were fucking incredible.
They did a fantastic job on the CGI in this movie, and there's going to be people who complain about it because unless you're under the umbrella of Disney, you do it wrong. But it's fantastic. It's A+ computer generated.
Anyone complaining about the CGI in this movie are looking for something to complain for that's not there, because I watched that first trailer, and in the first trailer I was like, yeah, Atlantis looks kind of good, but I don't know, the CGI looks not it clearly wasn't finished for that first trailer.
Yeah,
sure.
And when they hit like the same scene when he and Mara are in her little fish boat or fish submarine, whatever, and they go into Atlantis, I was blown away.
How did you describe it last night, Brian?
Well, I think the comparison with Avatar is apt. It's an underwater Avatar.
Yeah, and that's the hugest compliment that anybody could pay to the CGI in this movie.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But I love the people that will complain about the CGI, but will have zero concept on what it takes to do CGI in a film and to work on set on something like that. Because you're literally taking nothing and you're making something with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, I mean, I know Avatar is very popular in this podcast, but something that can't be denied is the technical achievement. Like
absolutely, 100%.
That there is a world that was created, and that's what they did here for Aquaman. They created a world, an underwater world, and it was completely believable.
Definitely.
And gorgeous.
So going from that, let's talk about the trench.
Oh my God.
Because I think that was my favorite part of the film.
Do you want to do favorite sequences?
Yeah, let's do favorite sequences.
Jordan, what was your favorite sequence?
The trench. God damn it. Because when they're on that boat and then all of a sudden you just see those creatures. It was everything. It was everything. There were so many of them. They take the flares, they dive into the water, and that shot where you see everyone following them.
That is one of my favorite shots in the whole movie. Yeah. It's just that far away shot of the red light and just swarms of the trench coming around them.
It's a cross section of from the boat down into the ocean.
Yeah.
There's the dread that was built up with just diving headfirst into the water. It was crazy to me.
And Andrew and I were talking about it a little bit the other day, where we were saying they kind of jumped around from genres for like a little bit of the movie.
Yeah.
So that was straight horror.
Yeah.
That was straight horror.
When they're in the cabin of the boat and they're just popping up all over the place, it's dark, and they're these hideous monsters. Yeah, like it felt like it went pretty seamlessly from time to time between different genres, and I think they did a good job, especially with the trench.
Oh man,
absolutely. I was telling Rob last night. So the term is called thalassophobia. It's a fear of the ocean and like creatures and so forth. That I've seen like on Reddit, 4chan, stuff like that. The memes of just, a boat on the surface and then just something massive or numerous underneath it. And I swear James Wan must have been on some of these threads.
Yeah.
They started going down and I was like, oh God, this is a meme.
And the further they went down, the more there were.
I know. And they're like
closing in.
Yeah. They're like at the bottom already and they're swarming past them because they're like trying to get to them, but then the light forced them away.
Yes. And they're just like punching them out of the way as they go.
Yeah. And they're like bumping into them and shit.
So cool.
Andrew, what was your favorite sequence?
My favorite sequence was actually the second fight when Black Manta shows up when they're in Italy.
In Sicily.
Excuse me, Sicily. Mm-hmm.
You watch your mouth.
Sorry, Rob. But it was just such well done action and fighting, and we got to see Aquaman fighting Black Manta. Yeah, and that was all I really wanted. When we got that.
When they hit that church square, I haven't seen a Sicilian church square clear out faster than in The Godfather Part 2. Hey.
Bada boom! I will second Andrews because that is also my favorite sequence of the entire movie.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Did you guys ever notice that every time Black Manta showed up, he interrupted what was going on with an explosion?
That's just
every single.
That's
time.
His MO, man.
Yeah.
That's it wasn't just Black Manta though. It was like every time there was a quiet moment. Period. Like when Mara Volko and Arthur are meeting down in that pocket of air in the ship. There's an explosion there. Like so, and there was a review that I had seen, and I think they're right that this is James Wan bringing his influence from like horror films that he's done before. Like I think Paranormal Activity.
He did The Conjuring.
Insidious. I know he did that too. Or I'm pretty sure he did that. But so those horror films with the jump scares, that this was his way of having a jump scare. Like you'll have a nice quiet moment and then just boom, explosion.
Yeah.
And you're back into the action. It's phenomenal. Brian, what was your favorite part in the movie?
I mean, the trench was so great. I guess honestly, I'll have to say for something for different. The last battle.
Holy shit.
So I have a question before we get into that. What the hell were they fighting on?
What do you mean?
Like, what was that ship thing that they were fighting on with the giant fins?
I assume that was Ocean Master's ship.
Yes.
It was. You're talking about on the surface, like when they're above the water? It was some sort of wreckage. I don't think it was Ocean Master's ship. I think it was wreckage because it was a propeller up in the. So I think it was something that had been underwater and blown up and then came up to the top.
Okay, because that was never clear to me.
I definitely thought that Ocean Master's ship breached the surface, and then that's what they were on.
Maybe it was just like from one of the ships that they destroyed that floated to the surface. Yeah, that was probably it.
At a certain point, his ship did, and a bunch of other ships did. Yeah. But I believe what they were specifically fighting on was wreckage.
Because it was that fight sequence was awesome.
Yeah.
But just from the beginning of the battle between the Atlanteans and
the brine!
The crab!
Crab people!
All right, I was wondering who was going to be the first one to say crab people.
Thank you.
Yep.
Right here.
It is.
And then giant crabs.
Oh.
Like just all that was. They had crab ATATs. They had no, that was a great battle. And then fucking Arthur shows him just like, hey, here's my thing. It's this giant sea creature voiced by Julie fucking Andrews.
It was voiced by Julie Andrews, dude.
Mary fucking Poppins voiced that sea creature.
I didn't even realize
Keratin.
that, but that's amazing.
I had to look it up,
I didn't
but it
realize
was
that either. But holy shit, that's fucking amazing.
And now that you like pointed that out, like I totally hear it.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
She did have a very
man,
sweet, sing-songy kind of voice for a sea monster.
that part was awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that fucking kaiju thing was amazing.
Oh yeah, with the
I love that we only got a glimpse of its tentacles when he's he's trying to get the trident, but then it shows up and it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my favorite. That's my favorite part was the big last battle going into the Orm versus Aquaman.
So really quick in
Ocean Master
in the Ocean Master versus Aquaman at the end, when Ocean Master his mother makes her return, and everybody obviously acknowledges her as their queen, and they take a knee for her and everything.
Right.
And she kind of explains to Orm like the situation, and he just like accepts it, which I thought was really cool. And Aquaman refuses to kill him, and they put him in shackles and stuff like that, and they tell him they play back the give him a room with a view thing. And they take him to the water, and it like a wave comes up
and gone,
and they disappear. That
so
was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it was
awesome. I was like, God damn it, they've done everything. Like,
so I was surprised at how much in this movie that it actually had emotional impact for me, at least. There were multiple times where I was welling up because of just how intense the emotions were. Like when, because during the last battle, I kept expecting for Atlanta to show up.
Yeah.
And then when she does, it's just like, oh fuck.
Mm-hmm.
See, what got me and what made me well up was at the end when
on the dock.
Yep.
When she shows back up.
Mm-hmm.
He still comes to this. He still comes to the end of the dock every morning.
I'm doing it right now. I'm thinking about it.
That was perfect.
Yeah,
that was perfect.
But even early in the movie, when she's, I have to go back and I have to leave him to save his life. When she's leaving Thomas and Arthur, just like there are several beats throughout the movie where it's just like, wow, they really hit an emotional core there.
Yeah, and I love that they opened the movie and closed the movie with the story of his mother and father and their meeting and then their reconciliation, I guess you'd want to call it, or something, when they come back together at the end.
They reunited.
I love that was the open and close of the movie.
Their Craigslist connection.
She finally got some service down in the Lost World. And
I loved it.
What did you guys think of when they're on the ship in the beginning, or in the submarine, and he's fighting Black Manta, and he's just fucking working him over because he's Aquaman and Black Manta's just some guy, and then his dad comes in with the grenade launcher.
Oh man!
So Aquaman's like, "You piece of shit," and fucking pins him to a wall.
But let's let's pull that apart really quick. Yeah, Black Manta's father is a piece of shit because he fired a fucking grenade launcher in a submarine.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
They're murderous pirates.
Yeah, he doesn't fuck around.
Yeah, but that notwithstanding. Anyway.
But I almost feel like him, like he pins him under the, when he dodges the second fucking grenade that he blasts at him, and he pops a hole in it. Aquaman dodges it, and the looked like a torpedo or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was
fell
torpedo.
onto Jesse Kane.
Onto his legs.
It was arguably worse that Aquaman saw it happening, knew he could fix it, and let him die than just straight up killing him.
Yeah, and I'm very glad that he recognized that was his fault when Black Manta comes back. After that battle, he's like, I could have saved his father and I let him die, and I believe I made an enemy. And I was like, wow, he is really a big dumb bro.
Yeah, he was Aqua Bro.
I liked that. I liked
did,
that decision of him because he was like, you know what, you got yourselves into it. You get yourselves into it, and the sea offers mercy, not me.
That was a great line.
Yeah.
I
the sea
thought
for mercy or something.
Sweet.
Also, I just like the whole fight scene when he's just beating the shit out of the pirates, and he puts the one dude up on his shoulders and just runs through the door and knocks him off.
Brutal.
And then he closes the door on the other guy's head.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh.
He bitch slaps the one guy into the ground. He full on bitch slapped that guy onto the ground.
That final shot of Aquaman popping out of the water that we see before the credits, directly out of the comics.
Yep.
Oh,
it looks like a goddamn comic book.
There are so many sizzle shots in this movie, and there's so many like splash pages in it. It's great.
Yeah, I'm such a sucker for like the big like one of my favorite moments is of course when he's fighting Black Manta and he says something and he goes, "Call me Black Manta," and then blasts him with the eye beams. Little punctuations like that. It's like, oh shit, he said it.
Yeah.
Or at the end when Ocean Master or Orm is talking to the thing and he's like, "I'll never call you king." He's like, "No."
Yeah, I was as soon as he said no, I fucking like half stood up in my seat, like, oh, he's gonna say it.
That's why I'm Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
I'm such a sucker for moments like that, and they're pulled off so well.
You are a sucker. We know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree, Andrew. They did do a very good job executing them in this film.
So the score for the film.
Yeah.
I very much liked the themes that every character had.
Yeah, I loved Manta's theme.
Yep.
Yeah.
I loved Ocean Master's theme.
Mm-hmm.
His was good. Aquaman's theme just seemed to be a errant guitar riff.
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
Icky Thump at one point, right?
No, did they?
What it was? They played a White Stripe song at one point.
So I liked the score of the movie.
Yeah.
The soundtrack.
Real quick, Junkie XL, he did the score. So just another great knocked out of the park by Junkie XL.
He also did Wonder Woman, right?
He did. He did.
Yeah.
And he teamed with Hans Zimmer to do Batman versus Superman.
Right.
Yeah.
But I liked the score, but I did not like any of the pop music that was ridiculously placed into the film.
Wait, now Rob, are you telling me that as the Indiana Jones / Tomb Raider segment kicked off, that you did not want to hear Pitbull's Ocean to Ocean cover of Toto's Africa as they're walking out of the water? You don't want to hear that?
That was painful. Painful.
And what's
painful.
Gentlemen, that is one of the greatest songs ever written. I'm sorry.
What's worse to me about that decision is that it is barely 15 seconds. Which means to me that it didn't even need to happen.
Of course
it did not need to happen.
No,
that pulled me out of that and then
absolutely
made me hypercritical of that whole section because
you and I just looked at each other.
Yeah, because my whole suspension of belief
was
dissipated.
Yeah,
and then had to be built back up again. So I couldn't have hated that decision more, and not even just that song, because there was like one or two other pop songs randomly placed into it. Yeah, that just I get that Guardians of the Galaxy did it well. Okay.
Yeah.
And I will even say I will even give you that Suicide Squad did it pretty well also, but it does not need to happen for every fucking movie.
Yeah.
Period.
Now, I'm wondering if that's part of like just a way to market it. And they were just like, well, we can get some more money for the marketing budget if we just put this clip from the song in from the soundtrack so we could sell the soundtrack.
But in so many other films, the song that they use for perhaps a trailer or something won't even be in the movie until the credits.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, why? Or if they let it off with somebody listening to that piece of shit song on their radio and they shut their car off. I
got to get rid of this car now.
I agree. There are creative ways to do that, and I feel like they did not do that in this film.
But
Jordan,
that is strictly with the pop music in the film. That is not anything to do with the score, because the score was phenomenal.
The score was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to be abundantly clear about that. Fuck Pitbull. Anyway.
I heard that I heard that song play on a morning radio show, and they were like, "Ugh," and I was like, "Ugh," and I was like, and then they said it was Aquaman. I'm like, "Oh fuck, please let it just be during the goddamn credits."
Yeah.
And then it hit, and then you and I just looked at each other, and we were just like, "God damn it."
Yeah.
Just
No. No.
Boo!
Boo this man.
So when we got to the post credits, and we see Black Manta, his damaged helmet, and he's washed up on a piece of debris, and then you see the edge of a ship pull up. I swear to God, I thought it was going to be Lex Luthor, and I was about to lose my fucking mind.
There were, I think, 4 or 5 people behind us that said, "Oh my God, it's Lex."
Really?
I sat up in my chair and I covered my mouth, and I was like, "Holy shit! If they do this, I'm so in."
I wish it were
Lex Luthor
Lex.
has a fishing vessel now.
I wish it were Lex, but then you'd have the people going, "How does he know where they are? Why is he floating around finding people in the like?" So the complaints would have been so many, and everybody. There's so much real shit to complain about with the DC extended universe that's not something that I would have complained about. I wish it were Lex, or I wish when Black Manta came to, Lex was the guy in the chair.
Right.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome for me.
Also, pleasantly surprised by a Randall Park cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Jim Halpert was great.
Yeah.
He was great in Ant-Man and the Wasp as well. But
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it was just kind of like, oh, okay, cool.
I liked showing him on the news, like banging the table for his crazy conspiracy theories. That was cool.
Well, that was because he was in New 52, right?
That character? Yeah, I believe so.
Dr. Stevens Shin.
Shin.
Yeah, Dr. Shin, yeah.
So I didn't think it was going to be Lex on the boat. I actually thought it was going to be Deathstroke.
That would have been cool too.
That would've been really cool.
And I think that would have even made more sense. I don't know why, but I think it would have made. But yeah, but it turned out to be Steven Shin. So okay.
And I'm all right with that, because it would have been cool, but the fact that they kept it separate from everything else in its own little bubble, so to speak, was great.
Yeah.
So
that's probably the best part of it, was that it didn't
crossover.
It didn't massively affect the plot at hand at that point. You know, it was like, oh, this is a thing that's separate, but we're going to be setting this up for the future. Yeah. Because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm already buying a ticket for Aquaman 2.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just want to just any more Aquaman versus Black Manta. I'm cool.
I'm very excited for the Blu-ray for this.
Yes.
Because I want deleted scenes, I want alternate scenes, I want behind the scenes, I want everything. Give me all of the scenes. Give me all
I guess you could say Jordan's a regular scene kid.
I'm fairly
Welcome to 2003, Jordan.
I'm fairly certain I'm going to go see it again.
Yeah.
I really there was so much that I know I didn't see in the big wide shots. I just want to take that all in, you know?
Right.
And then put in earphones when the exposition hits.
But would you be listening to Pitbull's Africa?
But about the Black Manta scene, I'm just really glad they put that the mid credit scene. I'm really glad they put that in, because while we saw him, fall off the cliff into Sicily,
which was brutal looking in
it was
right.
Good God,
when he hits him with the fucking super chain,
the two like stones connected by a chain. And he throws it and wraps it around his neck and just takes him out of the sky.
Well, because he shoots one of the balls right when it's right in front of his face, and that blows his helmet up.
Right. Oh. I was glad that they confirmed that he survived. Because
yeah, I was going to be pissed.
Too many of the superhero movies kill off their so they didn't kill Orm, they didn't kill Nereus, they didn't kill Black Manta. I'm like, all these possible antagonists are still around for future movies, which I think is great.
I love that they didn't kill off people because that seems like it's becoming a trope now that all these people have to die in whichever superhero movie. I like that they went a different route.
Yeah. The best thing about not killing Orm and putting him in jail instead is that it will lead to Aquaman having to go to the surface for another Justice League level event, and Orm will inevitably break out and seize control.
Yes.
And take over all the 7 seas and then be dubbed Ocean Master.
You only need 4 of 7, Andrew.
All right.
And one of them's out because it's a desert now.
Just need a quorum. Yes, the land of the deserters.
So no, I read about that, Brian, because I thought it was really stupid that they called them the deserters, and they were obviously in a desert. Apparently, that is the first kingdom of the 7 to have broken off of the group, and that's why they were the deserters.
I know.
The happenstance that it wound up being a desert.
I know.
Is poetic justice.
I thought they just liked desserts.
No, you're missing an S there.
Your hubris for cupcakes will fall.
Yeah, no, she said it was an inland sea. No, I totally get that. It's great that it's the kingdom of the deserters and it's in a desert.
Yeah.
So, real quick to touch on the killing villains thing. Honest to God, I think the problem with that and the reason why they started doing that was because of what happened to Heath Ledger. Because if you leave stuff open and your actor dies, then you have a problem, and then you get The Dark Knight Rises. So the screenwriters probably just decided, well, if we kill the villain, we won't have to worry about setting it up for the future.
But what happens if the hero actor dies?
Then they recast it like they did in Spartacus. But still.
Yeah, there you go.
But that's just something that I've noticed. But yes, I agree. I like the fact that they kept everyone alive. I like the fact that they're setting things up for the future. And I think it's going to integrate well in with the other DCEU movies.
I really enjoyed every time they showed, because we haven't really talked about it yet, Mira, her hydrokinesis powers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
The way her eyes would glow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When you first really see them, when Aquaman and his father are trying to drive home from the bar in this massive tidal wave sent by Ocean
Tsunami.
Tsunami. Sent by Ocean Master to punish send a warning to the land dwellers.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, and they're trying to outrun in his beat up old fucking truck.
That was so fucking crazy because you see the birds.
Yeah.
And much like it would actually be in real life, it really wouldn't make much noise.
Right.
You just see it rolling, and it's like, oh, fuck.
And then all those ships were, like, getting destroyed.
Like a fucking battleship that was coming at them.
That was nuts.
That was. But yeah, she shows up and saves Arthur. Well, really, it doesn't save Arthur. It saves his father. By creating that pocket. That was fucking nuts. But then, all of her powers are fucking amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job showing them, and like, you might not have known what her power was called, but you knew for sure she could. Like, once she started doing that stuff, you're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah,
that's her superpower. Yeah,
they did a good job explaining and setting up that this is what she can do.
And honestly, I haven't seen wine kill people like that since Game of Thrones.
Oh man, that was so cool.
I got so upset. I said that Brian was sitting next to me. Brian was sitting next to me, and she's in that place, and I was like, "Oh no, she's not going to ruin all that Italian wine. Oh my god, she's going to ruin all that Sicilian wine. Oh Jesus, oh gee!" And then all of it comes out, and she like spikes them with it.
Yeah,
she like turns it into ice.
That was so cool. She spikes all those guys with it, and I that was awesome. Was such a waste of good wine.
At least it wasn't the olive oil. Okay,
that's true.
Yeah, thank God.
What else? Anything else?
Just one little scene I really liked was when he's fighting Black Manta and he knocks the bell off, and it's about that
girl.
Instead of just like grabbing her or like
Catching
He
it?
just like nope and shoulder checks it into the wall.
That was brutal. I was like, oh my god, he is a glutton for punishment.
But
I thought he had headbutted it, but I think you're right. I think he shoulder checked.
He shoulder checked.
But
it.
like, I think that made sense because he really didn't have enough time to like grab her and move her out of the way. He didn't have enough time to like. And what if he like couldn't like hold it up?
He's not Superman.
True.
Yeah.
So he did the next best thing, which was to football tackle it out of the way.
It was such an awesome like, oh shit, nice kind of moment. I don't know.
Yeah. There were little things that I also didn't like the fact that it was, PG-13. I mean, I know they weren't going to go above PG-13, but it was a lot of it was very clean violence. Like in that scene where the bell fell, like something fell on a guy, and I was like, oh, okay, so he's crushed beneath the waist, and then they just lift it up, and he's like, oh, thanks, and
runs away.
And then runs away. I'm like, oh, okay.
I think that's just a point, like, where we're at with action movies like now. You could either go really, like, John Wick style with it, or you keep it PG-13. And I think we're all leaning more towards the John Wick style, but to all of the, like, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids that are watching this movie, they're not expecting a dude's legs to be crushed, like a toothpaste.
Mira chopped off the one dude's hand. That was pretty cool.
She did.
That was cool.
When Black Manta and he's just like slicing up and stabbing Aquaman, that was brutal.
Yeah.
Like you see the burns on his arms from when he gets hit with the optic blast.
That was cool.
Yeah.
So there's enough in there to be dangerous and violent.
No, absolutely. And it's just, again, little things here and there.
There's also a very small detail at the beginning of the film when we see Atlanta, I believe when she's falling asleep or waking up, I'm not sure which one it is. The camera catches a glimpse of an H.P. Lovecraft novel on the table. It was
underneath the snow globe.
Yep, it was the Dunwich Horror.
Yeah,
nice.
That was a nice touch.
Yeah, nice. Which I just thought was interesting because there's no way that was accidental.
No.
Like it clearly it focused on the letters of the name of the book and then moved away. So I thought that was cool. I was like, oh man, it's Lovecraft, and then you get that crazy crab monster at the end of it, and you're like, yeah, this all makes sense. We hang the end on the beginning, and there it is.
Yep.
Any last comments?
No, I think it's a great re-energizing of the DCEU. I know it doesn't, other than mentioning Steppenwolf once, they don't really talk about anything else outside of the DCEU.
Yeah, you defeated Steppenwolf. Anyway, back to our movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'll be honest, one other thing I was just a little problem with, like, I'm all for environmentalism, but it did kind of bash you over the head with like, hey, humans are polluting things. Like, I think we all kind of know that we are. Like, I don't think they needed to keep repeating it over and over again. Like,
I think that was more or less setting up the like Ocean Master and like their reason for bringing the war to the surface world.
And I get mentioning it once, but they mentioned it multiple times.
Yeah, Orm apparently is the hugest conservationist on the planet.
Yeah.
He's the current leader of Greenpeace.
He is the Greenpeace.
But even Mira like mentioned it when they were in the desert.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But that was during their cringeworthy back and forth, so I kind of discounted it as existing. So, just an overview thought of it. For me, the visuals and the action made this movie a must-see for me.
Yeah.
I may even go see it in the theater again, probably next weekend. The story was good enough, and even with some of the dialogue misgivings, there's way more good than bad. It's definitely up there as some of DC's best work. Tonally, it is a world away, get it, from where Man of Steel was. But I think DC feels the need to pivot because of the blowback to Zack Snyder's dark intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I absolutely loved the movie. I think it is my favorite DCEU film to date.
Wow.
just because of, like I said, it was just a fun movie.
Yeah.
The action and the CGI and the camera work all won me over, and I'll probably wind up going to see it again before it's out of the theater.
I also really, really enjoyed it. I would put it just below Wonder Woman for DC movies. I think that one, because I feel like, I don't know, emotionally had a greater impact. But yeah, it was a ton of fun, visually amazing, great fight scenes. Aside from some pacing issues and feeling like they crammed a bunch of stuff in and some cringy dialogue, I mean, the good way outweighs the bad for the movie. And if you want to go and just see cool stuff happening on a giant screen, this is the movie for you.
And you're generally interested in water.
It is a spectacle. Yeah. It is an absolute spectacle movie.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
Rob, since Jordan and Andrew kind of ranked where they have it, where do you have it?
I don't know. I like a lot more about the DCEU than I don't like. Right. I don't like the studio meddling.
Yeah, I agree.
That's taking place, but even still, I think that this fits into that greater universe that started with Man of Steel.
Yeah.
So I think that's all there. I don't want to rank it against other ones, but I would give it like a 7.5 out of 10 and call it like a B-.
Okay.
I would say that too. Yeah.
I would put it right now. I'd put it on par. Like I'd say it's a tie for me between Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman, because I love things about those three movies, but they're such different movies.
Yeah, exactly.
And so there's things that, none of them are perfect, but I do all love different things in them. So I would have to say that those three are tied for me right now. And then the other DC movies are much below that. I just have to hope that at some point we do get another Justice League movie, and that they figure out what they're doing with Batman, with Superman, with Henry Cavill, with Ben Affleck, or whoever it is playing these guys going forward.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're getting Wonder Woman 1984 next year, so that's going to be great.
And Shazam.
And Shazam.
And
really looking forward to Shazam.
Which is absolutely a part of the DCEU. So,
yeah. Dude, that trailer's so good still. Yeah. But anyway.
It was really good seeing that in theaters. I'd only seen it on my TV, and I was like, okay. And then I saw it in theaters, like, oh, okay.
Charge your phone. Charge your phone. Charge.
Your phone charge. Damn it!
What the hell? For one of my favorite parts of that was when he's leaving. He's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm a superhero."
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to that movie.
Definitely. Yeah. So stay tuned for our episode on that.
Yep.
This will have probably been our final episode of 2018. Yep. Expect bigger things from us in 2019.
2019 is a huge year.
Huge year. Huge. Massive. Tremendous year.
Oh, yeah.
One of the greatest years.
We're going to have a lot of good words.
The best words. Let us know what you think.
For Pop Cannon, I'm Jordan.
I'm Robert.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Brian.
Thank you for listening. Can't wait to talk to you guys about Aquaman.
Splish splash!
See you guys. Thank you.
Curse sploosh.
So, what did you guys think of Aquaman? Obviously, we liked it a whole lot. Who was your favorite antagonist? Did you love the costumes and design? How about the action? Are you enlisting to be part of the Kingdom of the Brine? Did you know Julie Andrews voiced that massive ocean floor dwelling crab monster? Did you watch this and have fun like we did? Let us know. We love interacting with you guys, whether it's over on our Twitter page at PopCannonPod. Give us a follow, we'll be sure to follow you back. Or head on over to our Facebook page at PopCannonPod and let us know in the comments. You can also subscribe to this podcast on YouTube. Just search Pop Cannon Podcast. And don't forget the K. That's what makes us special. This podcast is available on all the platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Breaker, Castbox, Radio Public, and the aforementioned YouTube. Subscribe to us, follow us, like us, tweet us, just don't mistreat us. And if you're a glutton for punishment and want to follow us individually, you can find me, Robert, on Instagram and Twitter at Yesball. Jordan can be found on Instagram and Twitter at JL24FPS. Andrew is on Instagram at AndroidSkeleton and Twitter at flavored_red. And Brian? Hoo boy. Well, Brian was last seen piloting a small fishing boat he stole from a marina in beautiful Sicily, where it was last reported he was headed out to search for the trench. Luckily, none of us have ever seen the trench, and we don't believe it exists, so he should be coming back any day now, because obviously nothing terrifying or horrible ever happens to people who go to the trench. What's that? It's real? He's doomed. I don't know if he has any flares. I'd hope so. Shit. Happy holidays, everyone, and Happy New Year. Seriously, thank you for listening. We'll be back very soon with more episodes and content like our Reactor Cannon reviews on Facebook. Recently featuring friend of the podcast, Joe O'Connor, reviewing Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And if you play your cards right, there may be more where that came from.